Hey, good morning, boys. How you doing?
Morning, Thomas.
David from Wisebury and Moore, and Richard Martinezzi from Wisebury Five Dog.
Morning, Thomas. How are you?
How's the market, boys?
It's still going strong, very strong, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Massive.
talk to me,
massive,
because I want to know, because I can't afford anything in the city.
Yeah,
It's doing really well.
Yeah, well, look, again, I was looking at prices. We're back up to where we were at the top of the market in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I was looking at some figures this morning. Since the top of the market in Enmore, this is I'm looking at, prices had gone back 7.5%, and they've come up 6.5%. So we're 1% behind where we were in 2017.
Wow.
And we, as I was saying to you earlier, we're getting good fantastic inquiries. Dulwich Hill, we just sold pre-auction. We had 71 inspections on that. And my big auction for next week, as I said before, again, we've had 47 contracts out.
Oh my
Those
goodness.
2 big rows of terraces. So there's a lot of people out there, and some of these people have got some serious money to spend. And even at the budget end, I've got a little cheaper unit at Stanmore. We get a lot of inquiry in that, first home buyers. So,
Yeah, let's talk about that one. Let's talk about that one. I mean, we hear. This unit's not sold, right? So the other one I know is going to be sold, those terraces, but this one here, let's talk about it. So
it's a ground floor 2-bedroom unit.
Yeah.
1970s, nothing special, but it's in that right price range, entry level price. It'll probably sell 6 to 650, somewhere in that range.
any garages?
No, open car space. You're going to pay more than $650 for a garage.
Right.
So we're good inquiry, and a couple of people back this week for second inspection.
So there's a toilet, there's a
yeah,
kitchen in there. I mean, I'm
yeah,
just
and a
asking. I mean,
kitchen.
do you have to pay some extra too?
And a balcony too, yeah. It's a great location. It's about 300 metres walk up to Enmore Road, so you're into the buses, all the cafes,
Okay.
on Enmore Road and that,
Okay.
nightlife.
And do you have the address? Is it on opened?
Yeah, it's on Real Estate Domain, Wisebury Online, Unit 2, number 41 Cavendish Street.
Right.
It's a great opportunity for a first home buyer to get into the market because there's not too much in the market under the 700,000.
No, I can
in
assure
that
you there
area.
isn't.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
amazing.
So it's a great buy for someone to get
Wow.
into the marketplace.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you say it's ground floor unit, so how many stories?
It's
are
a
it?
3-storey building.
Okay.
Your typical 1970s building.
And how many units in the block?
12 in the building, so it's reasonable size. Security building.
Yeah. And body corporate, what is it? man?
They're about 795 a quarter.
Right.
Levies,
Okay.
which are
Reasonable.
in the groove here. They're not too
Okay.
bad. Yeah,
So for anyone interested, before it's actually fly out the window,
Yeah, they've
call
got-
David Craddock from Wisebury and more.
exactly, and do it now before you miss out.
So let's go back to the market. What else? What else is the market doing? I mean, we're talking and more. What about
Well, I
Five
think
Dog?
the buy confidence is up there. It's pretty crazy at the moment, so it's creating like a bit of a buyer frenzy.
Right.
Everything that comes on the market, like David said, the inspections are crazy. We just sold one a couple of weeks ago where we had over 400 inquiries. There was 120, I think, inspections and 16 registered bidders on the day. So that kind of just flew out the door.
Yeah.
Yep.
And was it the one that sold with $400,000
That's
over
right,
reserve?
yeah.
Is that
So
the
it was
one?
400,000
That's
over reserve.
crazy.
Yeah.
400 over reserve.
Yep. So
Wow.
that's what's happening at the moment. I think you'll probably find the same thing on
Yeah.
the weekend when you sell that
Yes,
one in
some of them
Surrey
are,
Hills.
although interestingly, we're finding a lot of inquiry, but when it comes back down to auction day, most of the time we don't have any those numbers. There might be 2 or 3 or 4 registered bidders. We're not getting those massive amounts of registered bidders, which we were getting a few years ago when it was quite common to get 10, 12 registrations.
Right.
The number of registrations are down, but nonetheless, there are still people out there willing to part with their money and get into it. We're finding we've got still a lot of first home buyers active and people who are upgrading.
Yes.
Maybe from their first home, an apartment or something, into a home and that sort of thing.
I've been doing quite a few podcasts today of different areas. Do you find that a lot of people are upgrading, leaving maybe the inner city to go outside of Sydney?
Well, it's interesting. I was looking at some rental vacancy rates this morning.
Yes.
And the inner city, I think, was 5.5%. The next ring out, the next ring out was 5.4%. Then it went down to 2.7% for the outer Sydney.
Right.
Mate, everywhere out of Sydney, Central Coast, 0.7% vacancy factor. And all up and down the coast regional areas, they are so low. So there must be a lot of people, these aren't people that are buying, they're just moving out of the city.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I just did a podcast where the gentleman wanted to pay double the bond. He wanted to pay a double bond,
Just to secure it.
and he wanted to pay some extra money. It's just crazy out there.
Yeah.
You know, Central Coast, there's no vacancy.
That's right. When you've got a vacancy rate of 0.7%, that's when there's competition amongst
Yeah.
tenants. They're bidding up.
Which
against-
happened in Enmore, you know. I remember a time
Oh, it
when,
did
man,
years
you
ago,
had like
yeah,
40,
yeah,
50 people.
yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah, we would have open homes on Saturday, and you drove around the corner, and there's a queue of people up the street, 20 or 30 deep. But those days, unfortunately, are long gone. So
Yeah.
they'll come back. But
Any good stories, guys, about...
Well, I agree with
yeah.
that. What you said about people moving out of Sydney. The last 3 presentations that I've actually been to, they're all looking at buying the Central Coast because from COVID they're all working from home and they've decided that they can go to a beachside suburb, live there, and obviously work from there as well. So I totally agree. In relation to a good story, I think I was going to bring up my auction. Obviously, the thing with this one here, it was on the market. Well, it's been kind of going for 9 months. You know, it was a deceased estate, so the family decided to sell it 9 months ago. But it was good to finally close that chapter on them because through the pandemic, you know, going through probate, it took so long. So they were kind of overwhelmed of the whole process, and they were pretty happy that I stuck with them the whole time and let them know everything that was happening, and kept them up to date constantly. And obviously, come auction day, they were very relieved. And not so much of they were grateful for the sale price, but they were grateful that it was kind of all over. So they were very thankful and very appreciative of it all.
Oh yeah, no, I think it was a good show. I was there, so I could see how great of a show you put on. Because you know, as everything, people they think that an auction just happened on the day, but it's not true. I've done podcasts of auctioneers, and they are all saying that 90% of the job's done by the real estate agent before auction day. You know, like you guys are doing a bloody good job. I mean, the auctioneer is the guy that, you know, throws down the hammer. He throws down the hammer. He's the one that is on public display. So everyone thinks he's doing it, but they all say the same thing. 90%'s been done by the agent.
well, absolutely, you have to make sure you've got the buyers there. Is one thing, knowing they can buy it, and secondly is you've got to have your vendor in the right frame, so that their expectations are realistic.
Yes.
And then it's up to, if you get those two right, then it's up to the auctioneer to use his skill to get the maximum bids and get the result. But if you go there with a vendor that's got expectations way above market, well, no matter what the auctioneer can do, you're probably not going to get that result.
Right.
So that's part of it, and that's what we do through the campaign, is to educate your vendor as to what sort of feedback we're getting from, you know, by interested parties, you know, what they like about it, dislike about it, and you sort of got that, you know, 3 to 4 week of the auction campaign to give them that feedback and educate them as to where the market's at.
Yeah.
And you know, most people occasionally get some people who've got expectations they won't budge, but most people realise, you know, if we want to get a sale and move on, we've got to meet the market.
Yeah.
And that's yeah.
I know that you guys are pretty good now with your auctions, but I have to say, one of the things that I notice is buyers should also get education. I notice so many times around the end of an auction, they just go in drips and feeds, you know. And what happened is that when a guy goes up 5, it's not difficult for you to think about 1 or 5 to follow him.
Yeah.
But what if you're getting close to your budget, and instead of seeing everyone going through 5s, you do 50, right? Which may be calling in 1 or 2 goals, everything you had left. That stops a lot of people from jumping in because they go, hold on, how do I go another 1 when this guy is done 50? My head's been prepared for 1 or 5 or 10 or 11, and the dude just jump in 50? So I think that buyers ought to be also taught prior to auction day.
Oh, absolutely. They're really, you know, different people have different sort of bidding techniques.
Yes.
And you know, topping the previous bid by $1,000 is this one, or whatever, you know, denomination.
Or a knockout bid or something.
Yeah, knockout bid. But and we need to educate buyers on that. I had a client once at an auction, and he was using that tactic. But no matter what bids were put on the table, he would top it by $1,000. And it was funny, like there was two other people bidding there, throwing bids in, and every bid $1,000. And one of the other guys was starting to get a bit shirty, so he bidded an extra $1,000, and he was changing his bids all over the place to try and shake the $1,000 guy, but the $1,000 guy just persisted, $1,000, and he got it in the end. But I think you need to educate buyers, and I think a lot of them are, I don't know, a bit nervous about bidding some cases. Whether you go in strong. I tried that technique myself once. I was bidding on a house at Newtown, and I went in there, we had a look at it, and the agent indicated the price guide, and I thought, yeah, it's worth this. I'll put this figure in my mind. Anyway, come auction day, out in the street, opening bid, the usual 5-minute silence.
Yeah.
And then I sort of thought, oh, well, here goes. Put my hand up, $1.3 million. And auctioneer, that was a strong bid, sir. I said, yes. And there was deadly silence for another 2 minutes. I thought, oh, I've cooked it here. But then anyway, so someone else came out of the woodwork and a couple of other people finished it off. But I thought, oh, well, that's what I'm prepared to pay for. I'll throw them on the table to start with, just to see.
Yeah.
Because if you start high, it's you'll soon see if you've got any competition or not.
That's right.
So, if you start low, everyone gets in, and the next thing you've got 5 or 6 people bidding against you, and you think, oh, there's a lot of competition, but you don't know how high that competition is going to go. So.
Yeah, I find that when you start low and you go up slowly, you actually could run the risk of calling on other people's ego to get inflamed. And they say, you know what, I'm going to jump in now. Yeah. Or, you know what, I'll be silly sitting out. So if you did what you did at 1.3, there's probably quite a few who've probably decided that's it, it's not for me, this is going to fly.
That's right, yeah.
And suddenly you just narrow the range of buyers that are going to play with you.
That's right.
And I think that's where you guys are very, very good with your auction. Because I also noticed a lot of agents, the auction is pretty bad where they use it as a conditioning on the vendor. And I think it's a wrong way of doing it. You have to do it in such a way that you're here working for your sellers. You have to get the buys up.
Yeah. And that's the same with our auction. The first bid started at our price guide.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, so everyone was aware of the price guide and what it was going to go for, and the first bid was at 1.9 million. So from there, that's how we got an extra 500,000 on top, being 400,000 over reserve.
Yeah, excellent result.
Any other story you want to share?
I had a good little story. We had I suppose a tenant/vendor story.
Yes.
One of our tenants, her mother was moving into a retirement village, and she wanted to sell her mum's apartment. And she called me up one day, and plus a few other agents, and I went out and had a look, and we had a chat and everything, and went through the process. Anyway, she rang me back, said, look, I'll get you guys to run with it. So we went to market, sold it, great result, very good result actually, and I had a little email from her the other day, she's saying, thanks for the fantastic result. It was way above expectations. Between Emma and myself, dealing with Wisebrid has been absolutely fantastic experience.
Oh, that's so nice.
So it was good, yes.
Good.
So,
What's happening with the market, you reckon, now? So, this is the end of our interview. So I want to ask you, what's your prediction now? Has it changed from last month? We now the end of October. Should people buy in November? Is there going to be anything left in December for buyers who are waiting? I mean, what is going on?
We're finding stock levels still. There's stuff coming onto the market. And I think it'll still be a fairly steady market right up to the end of the year. What happens next year is the question on everyone's tongue, because there's talk of government cutting. It probably won't be till March. A lot of these support, JobKeeper, JobSeeker, whatever all those sort of things. Banks are starting to call in their moratoriums on loan repayments. Whether that's going to affect the marketplace a lot, whether it's going to some forced sales. When we look at the rental market, there's still a lot of vacancies out there that may start to hurt some investors that are highly geared. It could slow down a little, but then again, conversely, there's talk of a further rate reduction on Melbourne Cup Day, which is next Tuesday, and I think they can't go much slower than that.
Exactly.
Once they drop them once more.
Yeah. So what's your prediction then for? Let's have a look at it. Some people are going to be betting on horses. Let's bet on the rates.
Oh, let's bet on the rates.
You think it's going to go up or down? Oh, you're going to stay or go down?
I can go down.
I'm going to go down
I'm
too.
going-
Yeah.
You're going for
I'm
down?
going
Yeah.
down,
My money is that it stays.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll see. Okay. Thank you very much, boys. Don't lose everything on that day. You may owe me money by the end of Tuesday. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Thomas.
Thanks, Thomas.